Tom Gallagher, and it's video number 12. Today's video is about sharing and giving. You know, I mentioned that I read Napoleon Hill's Truthful Living, and in that book, Napoleon Hill says, give freely and the world will return in kind. And it got me thinking a lot about that. And I was talking to my wife about it the other day, and my wife is a tremendous cook. And she'll take a recipe and she'll make the recipe exactly the way the recipe calls for. And then she tweaks it based upon the feedback she gets from me, my boys, friends, that type of thing. And then she customizes it to our tastes, our liking. And then she'll share the recipe. She'll make the meal for somebody. They'll say, oh, I got to have this recipe. Can you give it to me? She gives the recipe to them. And then when they make it, they generally are not satisfied or pleased with the way they made it. And I was asking my wife, I said, you know, you give your recipes away and aren't you worried about it? And she's like, no, I want people to be happy. And when she does share it, they aren't very successful. And I was asking her about that, and she's very gracious. And she was saying, well, you know, maybe they didn't have the right ingredients, or maybe they didn't, you know, she's kind of at a loss. And it reminded me, and I mentioned to her about Jay Smithweck, who's a friend of mine who has 360 Booth. Years ago, I was talking to Jay, and I like, man, Jay, you tell people exactly what you're doing. You tell them all the ingredients that you use to get to whatever the conclusion is that you've gotten to. Aren't you worried that people are going to steal your ideas or your thoughts or try to take your concept? And he looked me in the eye and he said, no, I'm not afraid at all, Tom. They don't have my passion. They don't have my work ethic. I'll work them under the table. And it got me thinking in the same way with my wife. She's so passionate about preparing meals and cooking that when people try to prepare it, they don't have the success because they don't have her passion. When people try to duplicate what Jay Smithweck does, they aren't successful because they don't have his passion. So it got me thinking. Most of my life, I've held my cards close to my vest. The reality is people don't have my passion. So if I tell them how to do it, give them the directions on how to do it, chances are they're not going to be able to duplicate it because they don't have my passion. So my question to you is, what are you passionate about that you're not sharing? Give freely of your talents and the world will repay you in kind, according to Napoleon Hill, Jay Smithweck, Robin Gallagher, and now Tom Gallagher. Thanks again. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.